retired as the chief of the Pasadena City Fire Department, but isn't looking to take it easy. He's in the race for Pasadena City Council District 1 seat against Tyrone Hampton. He's also the father to one of our former reporters, Alex Wells. We're so glad to have you in here, Chief Wells. And you were trying to be so flexible and accommodating to accommodate a joint forum with Tyrone Hampton, and that just didn't seem to quite work out. Do you think Tyrone's running from you?
You know, there's an old saying, you can run but you can't hide. You know, and I have reached that conclusion. If you look back to the primary season where he failed to show up at the various public forums, with the exception of one, I have called out for early on debate in the general election season. For whatever reason, he failed to accommodate that request. So I don't think he wants to discuss the issues.
My question then is, given his lack of engagement, he did garner, what was it, 40 or 30, a large percentage of the vote in the first election, and has taken quite a few endorsements. What's your response to that? How does he manage to do that and yet not engage you, not interact?
He is an incumbent on the school board, so he has a constituency. We're well aware of that. I was one of the people that elected him to the school board, quite frankly. By the way, we would love to see him stay there and complete that job that he was elected to do. But as such, I think he had the name recognition. And let's face it, he's a very approachable, very likable young man, a people person.
Except when it comes to debating you.
Well, you know, I wouldn't say lack of engagement, because obviously, you know, you've raised a lot of money in this campaign, and one of the things that was highlighted even when he ran for the PUSD seat was he didn't spend a lot of money, but he was out there, you know, meeting people, engaging with people, and that's really was his strategy, and it looks like he's trying to reuse that strategy. So why do you think, even though you've raised a lot more money, that you know, there's still that significant gap from the last election?
Well, as far as campaign finances, most of my fundraising has actually occurred midway through the primary season and up to date. So that momentum is something that's ongoing. But I have been reaching out door to door, block to block, to the various neighbors, having that personal interaction and engagement and hearing the issues and concerns.
Let's talk more about the issues, especially the embezzlement scandal. I mean, it's such a big issue that, you know, people are just wrapping their head around. What do you think needs to happen with that?
Well, the whole embezzlement scandal, first of all, it was a tragedy. You know, just a travesty, really, to our city. And what needs to happen, we need to make sure that we have controls in place as a city and follow those controls and make sure that we have implemented best practices when it comes to our fiscal finances. At the end of the day, we need to let this investigation get completed. And after a thorough and fruitful investigation, we need to hold those parties accountable who are responsible for this.
Do you think Michael Beck will be held accountable? Do you think he needs to be held accountable, or did he come in on the tail end of this?
I believe that everyone from the lowest to the highest level needs to be held accountable. Once we have a comprehensive report and the facts out, everyone that has a responsible role in this needs to be held accountable to some degree.
Well, let's bring it a little bit closer to home, to the district itself. Gangs and violence in District 1. Do you have plans to address that?
Absolutely. You know, the 2020 initiative that was really spearheaded by Jackie Robinson is a great approach to dealing with such issues. I particularly am excited about the aspect of job creation and the vocations and raising the skill level in our community. Because when you give people a sense of self-worth and a job to go to day to day, I think that begins to offset the crime and the other issues that are going on in the
Well,
community.
what are some of the ways in which the City Council, in general, you specifically, are going to create jobs?
Because that's been an ongoing, you know, request or, you know, need.
It is, absolutely. I'm a huge advocate for increasing the skill level, particularly through monies that are available through the State Department. There's a lot of local money available for job creation. particularly in the building trades. I think that is a no-brainer, and we need to expand that. I'd like to see that pushed down to the middle school level. Begin getting kids working with their hands again, learning about the vocations, learning about what they're passionate about.
Wouldn't
We've
the
gotta protect 'em,
710
right?
freeway coming through here create jobs for people in the community? Where's your stand on that?
Well, my stand on the 710 freeway is that it's a bad proposition. There's an impact to public safety and the environment by the very nature of what is being proposed. It's going to increase traffic in our community, both surface street traffic as well as the interstate traffic. It's an inherent risk to first responders to go into a tunnel environment to deal with whether it be a hazardous material incident from the hundreds of trucks that will be going through there at any given time of day, or a major fire, or for that matter, a major accident. There's nothing good about what's being proposed with the 710, and I am against it.
Going back to funds and safety a little bit, the police have really been, saying that there aren't enough funds to train them, that the department's really imploding. What do you think needs to happen with that?
I think on a citywide basis, we need to make sure that we are compensating our employees the fair market rate. Because if you want to have good, effective public service, okay, you must have a viable workforce that is being compensated in accordance with the prevailing rate around the region. Pasadena has done a good job of that in the past. As is the case with the police department, they've fallen behind the scale, and we need to shore that up, find a way to fund it, and make them whole.
Well, you have the public schools here, Pasadena Unified, also complaining about lack of funds.
Absolutely.
I didn't really pose that as a question. I just kind of put it out there.
And I'm not sure if we're giving you enough
Yeah.
time. If you could just take a quick 10 seconds.
Well, that's a real issue. School funding, we have a decline in our student enrollment. Okay, per capita, they receive funding by the number of students from the state.
It's not fair because we
not
didn't have
fair.
enough time to let you really get to that. So I'm
It's
not going
such a big
to force you
issue,
to
exactly.
give it 3 seconds.
So, Chief Wells, we thank you for coming in, and we obviously need to talk with you a lot more and have you back again. Good luck
Thank
with
you
the
very
race.
Thanks for having me. Okay.
Well, don't go away. When we come back, we'll find out more about how Hathaway Sycamores helps foster kids find supportive families.
And Mary Winters will tell us about the best activities to keep seniors in senior living facilities engaged, and that's coming up next.
We have too many things.